Hello, everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast is part of the series or edition, the Spectra Dossier. This audio podcast is part of a Shine Squadron. This audio podcast is part of a Path Storm. In this audio podcast, an intro into peer review and published works from 2015, 2016, looking at an initiative that took place in the southwest region in the United Kingdom, and where this peer reviewed and published works from 2015 and 16 looks at the varying strategies as part of this works um, in around this works as part of a sort of a initiative to increase the numbers of people amongst the population, um, uh, uh, in amongst the population to gain a sort of awareness around solid organ transplantation, and also in around transfusion, in around blood transfusion. So to begin with, in around 2013, a health awareness campaign commenced in the city of Bristol, United Kingdom, and involved five influential organizations. Organizations. The Lord Mayor at the time the Lord Mayor at the time of Bristol Southwest in the United Kingdom, was sent out to highlight the importance of blood transfusion, solid organ transplantation in amongst Black and Asian and minority ethnic communities, whom are still whom can feel sort of some feel sort of uncertainty in around how solid organ transplantation and also blood transfusion or transfusion can help save lives. Ultimately, the campaign aimed to increase ultimately the initiative or the sort of campaign sought to sought to sought to increase awareness and the transfusion, blood transfusion and solid organ transplantation sort of pool in amongst in amongst the population. In the peer-reviewed and published works, the authors summarize sort of several main initiative strategies, including education, awareness, and promotion, the science behind blood transfusion and solid organ transplantation, the ethics, the faith and cultural beliefs, looking at sort of the centric parts linked to the strategies and reporting and dissemination. The Lawmare's sort of campaign or initiative helped to raise awareness and invited members of the communities to sign up to blood and organ donation, or blood to sign up to and solid organ transplant blood and solid organ transplantation register. And the work of this the works around this initiative or this campaign have been have been have been have been sort of extent have been extensive. And in this audio podcast series, there will be an overview in regard to also how many sort of signed up to the register the two signed up to the the registered as part of the as part of and towards the latter parts of this audio podcast series. Now delving into the initiative sort of objectives. So, following the publication of the All Parliamentary Kidney Group, or APPKG, and National Kidney Federation (NKF) 2012 manifesto on improving renal transplantation in amongst BAME communities, and the faith engagement and all organ donation action plan. The Lawmakers campaign or initiative aimed to encourage people from BAME groups to sign up in greater numbers to the registers. The campaign took place in collaboration with the Bristol Multi Faith Forum (BMFF), the Renal Patient Support Group, the RPSG, the NHS Blood and Transplant (NHSBT), and two local radio stations, Ujima Radio 98 FM and BCFM 93.2 FM. The main objectives were to number one, advise on the issues related to culture and faith, the faith sensitivity. Number two, to sort of publicize the initiative and campaign sort of broadly to BAME and faith communities. And number three, sort of to promote the initiative or campaign using community leaders. Number four, to develop and roll out community sort of champions. Number five, to assist the community community champions in undertaking roles. And number six was to support community events, in around events and forums. The initiative or the works around this had seven strategies. The next audio podcast and the next audio podcast or the subsequent audio podcast as part of this audio podcast series will delve into the initial strategy, looking at sort of the strategy around education initiative and strategy. That draws this intro audio podcast to a close. This intro audio podcast is part of a Spectra Dossier. This audio podcast is part of a Shine Squadron. This audio podcast is part of a Storm Robotics production. And once again, this audio podcast as part of a Path Storm.